So if you look at SPLK, the range is awesome, but if it's just gonna tap, so it's had like really, really bad weeks and then just ran into 200 SMA and just ramped up, right? So it may do that today. So guys, be careful. Good morning. What's going on in the hood? So let's kind of clean up the list a little bit, guys. We've got a good solid list we've been making all morning. Let's clean it up and focus in on like what we really think are the best ones, all right? So GSX, this one's to all-time highs. That's really important. So I want you guys to keep this on the watch list because any stock that's trending that's also at all-time highs, that's like the type of stock that we want to really be involved in. Now, the caveat with this one, there's a couple. Number one, we trade pretty much every stock around in the chat room, right? Long, short, small caps, large caps, in, out, right? Everything. I never even heard this stock. So that's something I always keep that in the back of my mind because, when you've been doing this a long time, you've seen almost everything. And if this thing was that hot, we would have been trading it. But we haven't been. It's only recently that the volume has picked up. It's only recently the volume has picked up and it's been tradable. So I like the overall look of it, but we've got to be careful that, because we haven't traded it before. This BJ, I would give this a B minus. So like when you do these, rank them. Because this thing might be stuck under resistance. If it stays under 25, there's nothing we can do with it except potentially short it. So leave that one. That's a B minus, right? So you want to grade these things. So B minus. JWN, similar. Like this thing's gapping up, but it's in the middle of all this resistance. Like maybe it squeezes, maybe it doesn't. Maybe it even could be a fader. So these are like, if I don't have a clear direction on a stock, so when I look at a stock that's got some earnings out, right? I want to have like a clear direction of what I want to do with it, right? Some kind of bias or plan. Like, okay, this stock is making a move. It's busting out the all-time highs, and it's doing X, Y, Z, right? Like keys. Like we have at least an idea of the levels on this. Because it's breaking out to all-time highs, and we know and can understand what levels to trade around, we can have like a specific idea or a bias before the market opens of what we're trying to do. A lot of times when you get into the guesswork of like, is this a long, is this a short, is it this, is it that, is it a he, is it a she, is it a we, is it a they, then we're all over the place. We don't know what's going on, and then that's where we can get chopped up in our trading losses. So BJ, JWN, I'm like just so on those, right? Keys I like. So Keys is breaking out the highs. If it can hold over this 94 level, it's good. If it breaks under, then it's not good. RTRX is clean too, right? So you got this bear flag over here. You're starting to already creep down pre-market. That one looks good. So move that to the top of the list. This SQM actually is probably the cleanest out of all these. It's been a downtrend for a while, but you've got this kind of bear flag over here, and it's already breaking below. This one is pretty clean, so I'm going to move that to the top of the list for me. I like that one. Now, let's take a look at, LB. So lubes, also like nice range pre-market, already in a nice downtrend. You got a bear flag over here. The liquidity on this is pretty good. The float doesn't really matter on shorting. Like on longs, you got to really pay attention to float. Let's see how much a stock can move. When you're shorting stocks, like, man, when the bottom wants to drop out, the bottom going to drop out. So, like, you don't have to really worry about float on the long side. So, I like that one. That one's pretty clean, too. So, move that up. Dix. Now, Dix, I don't have any particular bias on it. If it stays, like, under these levels, like, you can't long it. It's got to get above 36-ish to get going because in the end, like, it's in a big, gigantic range, Keith. So when you're in, like, a big range, it can just, like, pop up and fade, right? It's not something that's, like, clearing a level where you don't have any supply overhead or below. You're right in the middle. And as they say, right, like, the worst seat in the car is in the middle, right? Your penis in between us. Nobody wants to sit in the back seat and in the middle. It's uncomfortable. The seatbelt buckle starts digging in to your back. It is terrible. So Dix is kind of in the middle. we got to be careful with it. But we're taking at least one trade in this at some point just to say we traded dicks today, because that's awesome. And I'd like to say it a lot. So hopefully it starts running around and we can be like long dicks, short dicks, and just really kind of get going with that and have ourselves some fun. This setting is, I'm not sure how the news is going to react. I mean, is the CO important or not? Some companies it is. Some companies they're not. So we'll see. Like, does it hold at this 9 EMA? If it does, this thing very well may just reverse. So I would keep that up there too. I think this one, because it just had this hot earnings and stuff, it's going to move around pretty good. Now on the other side of things, there was some non-gappers that were really hot yesterday that we got to keep on the list. CVNA, flag breakout over here, busted right off this 9 EMA. You can see the big, beautiful trend on it, right? So this thing opens weak today. So if you see some kind of dip at the open, you see a dip down like 82, 81.50, 82.50. If you see a push lower and it dips down, we're going to look to scoop some of this thing up, preempt the red to green. Now, CVNA, even though it does 3 million shares in volume, it doesn't necessarily have like crazy amounts of liquidity when you're watching it. So don't chase the thing up. Make sure that you're going to be like really be mindful of this. So So let's be cool. Let's be mindful of this thing and kind of keep it going, right? Keep it going. Only on a dip, though. I will not chase this sucker up. RVLV had a nice day yesterday, up 6%. Kind of closed right at the 9 EMA. If it can get back over this, I think that this one could start rebounding. We have a gap fill here till 30. So it's got about $4 of upside. Like that one a lot, too. Roku is like imminent breakout here of 140s. It may rest for a day, but it doesn't look like it. Like, this thing is ready to go. You have room to your top of your Bollinger Band. That's at 146, 147. This has got to be on your watch as like a daily trader. It gives you good range, long and short every day. So when you think about stocks, you have different tiers. Your tier ones are like your earnings plays, things that are ready right now, right? Your tier two are stocks that they're hot, but they need a little bit of work. Your tier 3 stocks are stocks that you're going to trade every single day. That's your Rokus, your Crowds. You know, there's a handful of stocks that we trade every single day. JNUG is a tier 3 too. So no matter what JNUG looks like on the daily, because it moves around so much right now, it's always on our list, right? So it's a tier 3. We never take the JNUG off. You know, we see which way it's going to move. We look at the daily. Then we shake and bake around those areas. That's going to be really important. All right? So kind of keep mind of this now. On the other side, let's just finish on our list. These are day 2 plays. I want you to add Bazoon to the watch list here. Bazoon was a super nice shredder to the short side yesterday. Some of you guys were throttling it in the chat room. That was awesome. Danny, good job on that. You were really doing good on the shorts. Guy just started shorting a couple days ago. He's already starting to crush. So you start to see this thing push up a little bit. We'll watch it for the re-roll, meaning the fade. Green to red, right? So I want that one as a short. Cree also pummeled yesterday, down $10. If this thing pops up to 50.40 or squeezes to 52.51, hey Steve, how you doing? That one's going to be good. Errol, how you doing? Let me take a look at GE. So guys, add those two to the list. GE is a short still, I think. You know, you had that one-day pop, but this is a bleeder. It's not that fun to trade, but it's definitely a bleeder. Like, you could definitely keep it on your list. I wouldn't try to be investing in this thing. That's not my cup of tea. I don't know anything about that stuff, but it does look like it's probably going to fade back down over time to 767. Now, the issue on this one, it's already down 3 days in a row. Usually when you're on the third down day, day 4 could be very, very choppy. I prefer day 1s and day 2s. Day 3s are like, you have some caveats when you take a trade in day 3. It's got to open red to green, green to red. There's a lot more stipulations when you're trading a red to green, green to red move on a day 3. So just be mindful. It's not my favorite kind of play. So these are going to be the 2 hot ones, I think, along with these earnings plays. Guys, there's so many plays hopping around. Be organized, right? So you got to keep on another monitor somewhere, like add in like I keep a 6-window layout. I want to add in my favorites, right? We got to add in our favorites. We got to see like what's going down. That's going to be super important because you can only watch so many names, right? We can only watch so many names. There's only so much we could do, but if you're organized, you can shred all day, every day. That's a big part of trading. Like you got to have all your lists situated, because how many times you go through the day and you have something on your list and then you didn't trade it and you're like, oh shit, like did you guys see this go, or did you see this go, right? I see that in the chat room all the time. Like we're like, oh man, did anybody catch that bear flag? I missed it. Big part of why we miss stuff, myself included, is we don't get organized properly before the market opens, and then you're left scrambling, right? So we got to be just really careful with what we do. So let's have ourselves a little bit of fun. Let's go do what we do. As always, we'll be ready to roll. Let's do this, guys. Let's do this. Danny, you ready? Let's go. Let's shred.